Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is the show engineered to give you, the entrepreneur, the founder, the manager, thinking strategically, that critical edge you need. We cut through the noise to get to the core of what's shaping business today.
Exactly. And if you're trying to figure out how to move your company from just, playing around with AI to getting real scalable impact, then you are in the right place.
And we should say right up top, this is part 2 of our deep dive into the Tech Trends 2026 report.
That's right. Last year, the big question was, what can AI do? But now it's much more urgent. It's how do we actually rebuild our organization to use it?
To actually make it work at scale.
Yes. So today is all about that great organizational rebuild that AI is basically forcing on all of us.
Okay, let's do it. For anyone just joining us, let's set the stage with a quick recap of the first 3 trends we covered last time.
Sure. So trend 1 was AI goes physical. This is the huge shift from robots that are just pre-programmed to systems that are truly autonomous that can learn on their own.
Right, the Amazon example.
The Amazon example, exactly. Their Deep Fleet AI boosted robot efficiency by 10%. And the long-term view here is, well, it's projecting 2 million humanoids in the workplace by 2035.
2 million. That completely changes how you even think about planning for human labor.
It really does. Then, trend 2 was the agentic reality check.
And this was that big gap, right? Something like 38% of companies were piloting AI agents.
But only 11% actually had them in production. And that's where, so many organizations are getting stuck right now.
So what's the lesson there?
The big takeaway is you can't just automate your existing processes, especially if they're broken. You have to fundamentally redesign the workflow for the agents. Think of HPE's agent, Alfred. It wasn't just built to speed up a performance review.
No, it was about transforming that entire end-to-end process.
Exactly. A total redesign.
Perfect. Which brings us to trend 3, the AI infrastructure reckoning. This one tackled the economics of it all, which can be a little surprising.
It can. You mentioned that token costs basically the price to run the models. They've dropped, 280-fold in 2 years?
An incredible drop. And yet, total AI spending is just exploding. How do those two things happen at the same time?
That's the friction point. The cost per transaction is tiny, but the volume of usage has just completely swamped that cost reduction. It's forcing a big strategy shift.
Away from cloud first.
Away from just blindly saying cloud first. Now it's a strategic hybrid model. You use the cloud for, variable workloads, things that need elasticity, but you bring the consistent high volume stuff back on-prem, and then you push the really time-sensitive things out to the edge.
So it's a strategy born out of necessity, not just preference.
100%.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly for our main event today. Trend 4, the Great Rebuild, architecting an AI-native tech organization. And this isn't just tweaking things.
No, this is a full renovation of the company's entire nervous system. And what's fascinating is that almost everyone gets it. We're seeing 64% of organizations increasing their AI investments.
And the budgets are reflecting that. The report said the slice of the tech budget for AI is jumping from 8% to 13% on average.
A huge jump. And here's the kicker statistic for me.
Go on.
Only 1% of IT leaders said there were no major operating model changes happening.
Wow. So 99% of you listening are in the middle of some kind of structural upheaval. How does that change the role of, say, the CIO?
It completely redefines it. The CIO is, they're evolving. They're not just the tech strategist anymore. They're the main AI evangelist and orchestrator for the entire company.
And you can see that in the reporting structure, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. The data backs this up. 65% of CIOs now report directly to the CEO. Back in 2015, that was only 41%.
And when tech reports to the very top, you know it's not a cost center anymore. It is the core business strategy.
It is the business.
But that also means the CIO is on the hook for results. So what's the philosophy driving this rebuild? How do you get that return?
You have to stop chasing cool tech and start anchoring everything to measurable business outcomes. There was a great quote from the Broadcom CIO.
What did they say?
Something like, without focusing on a specific business problem and the value you want to derive, it could be easy to invest in AI and receive no return.
The tech has to serve the value. So if the strategy is tied to outcomes, what about the architecture itself? What does it need to look like?
It's got to be built on 2 pillars. Modularity and observability.
Okay, break that down. Modularity first.
Modularity is key because the models are changing so fast. Coca-Cola is building a modular architecture so they can swap one large language model for a better one. And it doesn't break everything downstream. It gives them flexibility.
And observability. Why is that so critical?
Well, because these AI systems are just incredibly complex. They're running everywhere, cloud, on-prem, at the edge. So when something breaks, you need to be able to see the whole picture. The CIO at Western Digital said they use an observability architecture so they can fail fast on small pilots. You can't learn quickly if you don't know why you failed.
Modularity for resilience, observability for speed.
Blah. And you can't have speed without the right people. This isn't just about machines.
Absolutely not. The talent strategy is all about augmentation. It's about building blended teams of humans and agents. We're seeing all these new roles pop up.
Like what?
Things like human AI collaboration designers, edge AI engineers, even prompt engineers. These are becoming mission-critical jobs.
I thought the Moderna example here was fascinating. They created a chief people and digital technology officer.
Merging HR and tech.
Yeah, they're essentially saying you can't plan your human workforce separately from your digital workforce anymore. It has to be one holistic plan.
And if you connect that to the big picture, it means governance and structure are now what drives the model's performance, not the other way around. You can have the best model in the world.
But if your organization can't deploy it with proper oversight, it'll fail.
It will fail. That's a perfect lead-in to our fifth big trend, which feels like the biggest tightrope walk for every executive I talk to. Trend 5, the AI dilemma. Securing and leveraging AI for cyber defense.
The ultimate paradox, right? AI creates all these new risks, but it's also your best defense against them.
The tension is, it's palpable. The same speed that makes AI great for business makes it incredibly dangerous for security.
And a lot of the biggest threats, they start inside the company, specifically with something called shadow AI.
Okay, so shadow AI is basically teams using AI tools without IT's approval or oversight.
Right.
Why is that so dangerous? Is it just a compliance headache?
It's so much more than that. I mean, imagine an employee uses some unsanctioned agent to analyze proprietary data.
Okay.
But that agent is sending your sensitive data out to a third-party server that you have zero control over. It creates these massive blind spots where autonomous agents are making choices with your data, and you have no idea.
It's like a backdoor you didn't even know was installed.
A very powerful, autonomous backdoor. So the risk isn't just about getting hacked from the outside. It's about your own systems compromising your data from the inside.
So where do these vulnerabilities actually show up?
The report breaks it down into 4 domains. First, you have data risks, things like data poisoning, someone maliciously messing with your training data, or privacy leaks.
Right.
Then you have model risks, people trying to steal your model, or a really interesting one, model collapse.
Okay, hang on. Model collapse. That sounds bad. What is it?
It's basically like digital inbreeding. If you train new AI models mostly on data created by older AI models, so-called synthetic data, the new model starts to forget about the rare, messy details of the real world.
So it gets dumber over time.
It gets blander, less accurate, it gets trapped in an information decay loop, just producing simplified, repetitive results.
Got it. A critical thing to watch out for.
Right.
What are the other 2 domains?
Third is application risks like malicious prompts that trick the app into doing something it shouldn't. And finally, infrastructure risks, insecure APIs, misconfigured deployments, that kind of thing.
That list sounds pretty daunting. But the report suggests that a lot of the security practices we need aren't totally new.
That's the key point. The fundamentals are still the fundamentals: testing, access controls, secure deployment. They just have to run at machine speed now. The AT&T CISO had a great quote on this.
Which was?
The only difference with AI is speed and impact. The threats are just moving exponentially faster.
So if the bad guys are using AI to attack at machine speed, you have to use AI to defend at machine speed.
You have no choice. And that's where leading companies are really leaning in. They're turning AI into their best defender, especially with things like red teaming.
Like the bank, Itaú Unibanco.
Yes, the financial firm. They use red agents, AI agents, whose only job is to attack their own models. They stress test them for bias, ethics, and inappropriate content before they ever see a customer.
That's brilliant. You're training your system to defend against an attack it hasn't even seen in the wild yet.
Exactly. It's proactive. The other big one is adversarial training, where you intentionally feed the model tricky inputs designed to fool it. It's like making your model street smart so it's harder to manipulate.
And looking forward, the report says leaders need to be thinking about the next wave of threats. What's on the horizon?
2 big ones. First, the risk of AI physical convergence. Think about cascading failures. A compromised AI in a supply chain could disrupt a power grid. A software bug could literally cause a blackout.
The stakes get very real very fast.
They do. And the other frontier is autonomous cyber warfare. Basically, AI versus AI combat happening so fast that humans can't even keep up. Security is no longer just a roadblock, it's what enables you to innovate safely.
Okay, so those trends paint the big picture. But the report also flagged 4 adjacent signals, things on the horizon that could change everything. Let's cut through the noise in a segment we're calling Tech Signals Worth Tracking.
Signal 1 is all about the data hierarchy. The new gold is fresh, proprietary data. But here's the risk.
Synthetic data.
Synthetic data. AI-generated content. It's predicted to be 80% of all data used for training by 2028.
80%. But if everyone's using AI-generated data, doesn't that lead straight back to the problem you just mentioned? Model collapse.
Exactly. That's the strategic risk. If your models are only learning from their own simplified output, they degrade. The real competitive advantage, then, goes to whoever owns the real-time, non-synthetic user data. It's a new arms race for authentic information.
Signal 2 points to hardware. Neuromorphic chips, brain-inspired processors. Why are these so important when GPUs seem to rule the world?
Energy. They solve the energy crisis for AI on the edge. They're event-driven, so they only use power when they're actually processing something.
Unlike a GPU that's always on.
Right. For a task like analyzing sensor data on a robot, they can use 80 to 100 times less energy. That's what you need to put powerful AI in a device without the battery dying in 5 minutes.
Which leads right into signal 3, edge AI. Running AI on the device itself, the phone, the robot. Why is this becoming so critical right now?
It comes down to a triple threat of needs: low latency, privacy, and cost. A self-driving car can't wait for a round trip to the cloud.
Of course not.
Sensitive data sometimes can't legally leave the device. And, as we said before, it helps contain those exploding cloud costs. The market's already there. Generative AI smartphones grew almost 364% this year.
The device is the computer now.
The device is the platform.
And finally, signal 4, which is a massive shift for any business that needs to be found online. GEO overtakes SEO.
Generative engine optimization. Think about it. User behavior is shifting from clicking 10 blue links to just getting one answer from a chatbot.
Right. And if the chatbot gives you the answer, you don't need to click through. The data shows click-through rates are already dropping by over a third.
Which changes the entire game. Old school SEO was about keywords to get you to the top of the page. GEO is about semantic richness and authority, so that your content is the source the AI cites in its answer.
So if you're not optimizing to be in the AI's answer,
You're becoming invisible no matter how high your website ranks in the old system. This is the most critical marketing channel for the next decade.
okay, let's pull all this together.
Yeah.
Looking back at all 5 trends in these 4 signals, what's the one single unifying message for a leader listening right now?
The core message is that the pace of change itself is speeding up. The S-curves, the time between a new tech emerging and it becoming mainstream, they're getting compressed.
So the time it takes you to study something might be longer than the time it's even relevant.
You got it. And that means success depends completely on having the courage to redesign your organization, not just trying to automate the old way of doing things.
So the era of slow, measured, incremental improvement,
Yeah?
it's over. It's all about the velocity of the rebuild.
It is. At the end of the day, the companies that win won't just be the ones with the coolest tech. They'll be the ones with the speed and the discipline to execute that rebuild before the window closes.
And that gap between the leaders and the laggards is getting wider.
Exponentially wider. It all comes down to execution velocity.
That is a powerful thought to leave everyone with. Which side of that execution gap is your organization going to be on? This deep dive was based on the Tech Trends 2026 report. We really encourage you to find the full document for a much deeper look at everything we discussed today.
We hope these insights give you the clarity you need to navigate this great rebuild.
We'll see you on the next deep dive. 2 seconds of silence.